I'll start my talk with a quote. Dreams without goals are just dreams, and ultimately they fuel disappointment. See, on your way to chasing your dreams, you must arm yourself with discipline, but most importantly, with consistency. Because without commitment, you'll never start, but without consistency, you'll never finish. I started off as a radio host after my short stint as a junior lawyer at Akeremuna's law firm 21 years ago. Yes, I'm old like that. Short, old man. But I remember that the very first thing I wanted to do when I first had the taste of television, I was 7 years old. I was writing Common Entrance to go to Form 1, and there was a show called The Debate. I don't know if you guys who watched our TV, but back in the time, they could do a debate. And I knew that this is what I wanted to do. Very early, I knew I had tasted the lights, the camera, and I said, this is something I might want to do. But then back in the day, we were watching a lot of television, and LA Law, for those of you who had TV back in the day, my dream was to become a lawyer. I remember that there was a camera. In the movies, in the series that I watched, there was a camera. And I said, maybe that's my calling. Back at University of Hawaii, I used to, just out of pure instinct, host a lot of, post-grad school events. So, the lessons, the sessions, I was in Circular College. And I hosted a lot of those shows. Why am I talking about instinct? I'll start with the first thing about passion. You have to know what you're passionate about, what makes your heart beat. A recent study in 2001 showed that out of 10 Cameroonian creatives, 8 are just doing what everybody wants to do. It's like photography. Not everybody's a good photographer. A lot of people have cameras. A lot of people have cameras. There are very few good photographers. Just as a good camera doesn't make you a good photographer, a good pair of boots doesn't make you messy. It's all about the eye. Do you have the eye? A lot of people do what they don't want to do. They do what the world is asking them to do, what is hot. A lot of young women that we know were makeup artists just 2 years ago. Now they're selling food. Everybody's selling food these days. The next thing is blogging. Remember when blogging was the hardest thing? Everybody was a blogger. Now, pick 3 of the bloggers you knew 4 years ago. Go to your profiles now. What are they doing today? Well, some are selling food, some are fashion designers, some are just giving up on life, and I'm going to marry. I'm not saying those that are married are desperate, I'm just saying, think about it. In this world, when you're creative, one of the most important things is discipline, drive, and focus. Roland, my elder brother that was here, said something that touched me, and I say this every time I am blessed to grace the stage to speak and share my experience. You have to be true to yourself, but you also have to trust your instinct and take risks. I took a lot of risks. When I decided to move out of law and become a radio DJ, my late father and mother thought I was crazy, and they said I was tired. Remember that night when I told my father, I'm going to quit law and go to Douala and become a radio host. He said, man, you're just tired. You need to sleep. Tomorrow morning you'll feel better. I didn't feel better the next one. I felt worse. Because I thought, these people don't believe in me. I think they just wanted the best from me, but did they know what I wanted for myself? I think supporting your dream and being consistent is a huge challenge in an environment like ours where a lot of people just do what has to be done to get food on the plate and to put food in the fridge. As a creative today, if you're an entrepreneur here, if you're blessed to have the opportunity to pitch your ideas to gentlemen like Mr. Mino, that I had the pleasure of being the first time on the show, Gabriel, my brother, people like Churchill, who have shown that it's about consistency, repeating, failing many times, many times, but keeping track. Now, mind you, I'm not saying if you're a bad basketball player, you should play to the end. Most people know what they're bad at. True or false? And most of you as well have friends who lie to you and tell you that you're good at this. Please, that friend is not helping you. Be consistent even in your friendships. Be consistent in your drive, because this world will test. It will test you in the morning. It will test you in the afternoon. It will test you at night. And the world will throw at your feet a lot of banana peels just when you're focused and set on the right path. Remember those friends that don't call you when you're in need, when you get your life together and you give your life to Christ, for those of you who believe in Christ, and you have something going on good for you, what happens? Those friends come back. The ones who drink with you, they call you. Come on, just one beer. You have to be consistent in your no. I want to share a personal story with you guys. 3 years ago, when I moved back to Cameroon, we started a poetry platform called Night of Voices, something I'm very proud of. We have some poets here in the house. I see Pet Boy, I see my sister. And the most difficult thing for us was keeping up, because obviously the first 3 shows, we did a show in Douala, and 500 people, you know the Facebook thing, the event thing, right? Where people think that they're coming. Don't believe that shit. You will be so disappointed. Don't. And I think obviously we'll talk about at the panel. So Maya knows that we're talking about what you know. You know, social media is one thing. The real life is over here. What I'm saying to you is this. You have to understand that that world is a parallel world, and it's consistent in its illusion. Consistent in the way it would trick you to thinking that you're important because you got 10 million followers. They call them now influencers. You know, I laugh when I hear that word. What do you influence? It's like Roland said, you can't influence your own community. People in your own neighborhood don't know your name. But you're on Trace TV and you're a superstar. The guy who's your neighbor doesn't even know your song. But you have 10 million likes on a YouTube video. A consistent illusion. You have to be real with yourselves. I think the things that saved me was just looking at myself and saying, I'm not that great. I'm not that big. There's space to learn. There's space to grow. The new people don't need, even the youngest person can teach you something. And when you think about it, when we started out our voices, the challenge is high. When we got here to Douala, 500 people said they were coming up to the show, and 7 people showed up. Among the 7, there were 3 guards. I mean, I'm counting the guards that were there. Because it's a show, right? You have to count everybody. My partner at the time, when she said to me, babe, this is not working. I said, it's just the 5th one. She said, yeah, but it's 5 events. And don't you think you should do something else? This is all I know how to do. I'm a poet. I'm a writer. I like telling people's stories. I like telling my stories. I think poetry is a universal language. Poetry in Bambara, in Swahili, in Tone, in Bakweri, it's poetry. But think about it. This is what I'm made for. This is where my heart beats. And it might not have an audience here, but I'm not just meant to be here. Because your work today is bigger than just where you are. People like Mr. Mine, people like Shirley across the world. Today you're relevant in Cameroon, you're saving a life. You can save a life in Ghana. You can save a life in Swahili, in Somalia, anything. So be consistent in your belief, be consistent in your drive, in the things you want to do. That was season 1. Fast forward 3 seasons later, now we have sold out events with 100 people showing up. Because we've been consistent. And because people test me. I think one of the reasons Shirley does this show with my mentors and the faithful judges is also about consistency, right? You want to test how consistent have you been through the years. Because if they give you 1 million today and you disappear, and that's why Churchill and Gabriel, they make it so difficult for you guys, man. Because 1 million is a lot of money. It is. You might not look at it that way, but in America, I had the chance of living in New York. I didn't make $1 million every month. I had to work 2 jobs to make that kind of money. Bro, I used to go and perform in Brooklyn for $30. 30. I would cross Harlem, that's 17 stops down to Red Hook, Brooklyn, and perform in the middle of the night. And the $30 would only cover my coffee, 2 meals, and I'm back to square zero. But the same people that invited me across Brooklyn, they invited me 2 years later to Amsterdam to perform. That's consistency. Because they know you have a dream, you keep the fire alive, and you keep doing it. Don't listen to the crowd. You're born alone. Even triplets come out one by one. I'll end by saying this. Again, consistency is not something that you can achieve overnight. It has to come with a certain acceptance of the difficulty of the task ahead. As a creative in this country, it's very hard to keep up. So believe in your talent, believe in your God-given talent. Do not give up. The world is full of people who have given up before they even started. Don't forget, it's not a race. It's not a race. It's a walk. It's a journey. Thank you, gentlemen.